What happened in your dating experience to where you're now like,
It's a lot of pressure on black men, specifically dating black women. And I love black women. Social media and the culture has put a lot of pressure on us. This could be just based on environment. When I moved to Atlanta, women here are very entitled. And listen, I'm not blaming anybody, so I don't want this to turn into
when you say entitled though, what does entitled mean?
I'll say financially entitled. I feel extreme pressure. And I get hit on by white women, I get hit on by all kinds of women. But when I get hit on by black women, I immediately feel this entitlement of, I gotta pay for something.
Wow.
I gotta pay your rent. I gotta help you with your car note immediately within 2 weeks. Or I'm just saying what I've experienced. I'm not saying that's every woman. Nowadays, if I take somebody on a date,
$400
immediately, and I don't even drink. So if she drink, that's the couple hundred. If the hookah is 45, lamb chops is 50, dessert. So by the time VIP
Valet.
park, valet, I was just getting ready to say valet. So we didn't spend $400 for me to see if you like me.
Say that again.
So it's like I'm spending. That's just the first date. You want to go out again. I didn't spend $1,000 on 3 dates just to see if you might call me back or maybe text me back. And then because you're a beautiful woman, if you don't like me, you can go get the next man to do the same thing.
Hey family, and welcome back to another episode of It's Negotiable. I am your co-host, Ernestine Morrison.
And I'm your co-host, Amber Ty.
And happy Wednesday! Yeah. Did I hit it?
Don't do that with Travis Malloy in the building.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Don't do that.
When there's real singers in the building, you can't really sing like you think you can sing when there's a real singer in the building. Happy Wednesday, family. Welcome back to another episode of It's Negotiable. You already know we discuss setting boundaries with people, places, things, mindsets that do not serve God's calling for your life. But there's a caveat.
Yes.
Because of your obedience, you understand that some things may actually be negotiable. Today, we have a phenomenal guest. A phenomenal guest, like inspiration, aspiration, motivation. We have Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter, producer, ASCAP award-winning entrepreneur, founder of Millions, Billions, Trillions. Mr. Travis Malloy is in the building.
What up?
Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. I'm super grateful.
He said, y'all gonna get this beard today.
Yeah,
he said this beard is oiled down, baby.
For sure, y'all superstars. I had to bring the heat.
So Travis, we ask every guest, what is something that used to be a non-negotiable that's now negotiable for you?
Ooh. Now let me ask you a question.
Not your turn.
Are we talking about in relationships, just in life, period?
Anything, whatever you think of first. Relationships, spirituality.
I have to say this. I was just gun-ho on getting married. And now at 36, I would be okay if it doesn't happen.
Wow. You would be okay.
Yeah. And this could be, as everybody's talking about these days, my trauma response. But yeah, at 36, I've had some interesting experiences that have made me okay with just waking up and not having to adjust to anyone else but myself.
That's interesting. So one of the biggest things is having to adjust for a partner is what kind of is making you shy away from?
I would say, I tell this story a lot. You ever hear a song or a movie playing in the background? You're not watching it or listening, but you just kind of catch something. It was a Tyler Perry movie playing, and he said, I don't know if it was Medea or him, but he said, when you say I do, you're saying I do to multiple people. I had never really heard it like that.
Yeah.
So now it's like people change and evolve every day, and you really have to make just undeniable commitment to say, I'm going to go with you no matter who you wake up as.
Who you wake up to be today.
It's like, I'm not sure, because some days I don't know how I'm going to wake up and who I'm going to be when I wake up. And I don't know if I'm up for that anymore at this moment. I may meet somebody who, changes that, but right now that's not really my focus.
That's funny because I actually said these exact words to somebody earlier this week. I was like, you know what? When I was younger, I used to want to get married so bad. And I think the desire is still there, but it's not an obsession. Yeah. It's not a daily, I got to find my mate. And I said just recently, I'm like, I'm okay if I don't get married. Wow. Because I also believe that everybody is not intended to be married. Yeah. So mine came from more of like, God, whatever your will is for my life, I'm okay with that. Instead of me trying to press my will on the God, where's my husband? Why haven't you brought? I'm 41 years. No, it's like, you know what? I'm doing well. You know, and I think my pursuit for a partner, if I were to have a pursuit now, is more of like, I have a child, and I would like him to see two people in the household versus just his mom in one household and his dad in another. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's so funny that you said that.
And it's crazy that you say that, because it makes you I don't know who it was. Some celebrity just posted online to make it okay to have married couples have their own room.
Yeah, I saw that. Who was that?
That was I can't remember who it was. But it was a famous actress.
Yes, it was a famous actress.
And she said it, and I was like, man, now I'm 36. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
We can make love for a second and go in your room.
No, I definitely agreed with that, with the sentiment. I'm married, and I'm like, yeah, it'd totally be cool to have separate rooms. However, I would only like it in the sense of like, I have my room for my stuff, in my closet, in my bathroom, in my toilet. But at the end of the night, I need to rub my feet against yours in the same bed.
And I need that too. And I'm a Scorpio, so I'm very affectionate.
Oh, my husband's a Scorpio.
I'm emotional. That's my brother. And you know, so I do long for affection. But I think as an entrepreneur, we're like go-getters. You know, we wake up as a different animal every morning. Yeah,
it's different.
And, you know, somebody has to understand that while I have to understand what they may wake up as. And, you know, it's a lot, because everybody needs a different version of you. Yep. The person I am to my sister, I'm not that way to my mom. The person I am to my manager is not who I am to my nephew, or to my pastor, or to somebody I might be dating. So when you think about it, you have to be all these different people to everybody.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Because you said the person I'm dating. If marriage is not the goal when you're dating, well, why are you dating?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I think that, you know, you always want some level of companionship.
Absolutely.
But just, you know, that those trials, those 30, 60 days, it just seems like we don't make it past the 60 days. It's like as soon as they start charging, it's like it's time to go.
You get a free trial, 30, 60 days.
So I don't know. I haven't been able to make it past that 60-day trial.
Ever? I want to rewind though, because you have this stance.
I said ever?
In the last couple of years.
Okay, go ahead, Ernest.
You have this stance of like, okay, you know, maybe marriage is off the table. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I'm kind of leaning more towards, well, what happened in your dating experience to where you're now like, there has to be something that happened drastically that changed your mind.
It's a lot of pressure on Black men, and specifically dating Black women. And I love Black women. I love chocolate. I ain't marrying nothing, but if I get married, it's gonna be Black. So that ain't even an issue, but it is a lot of pressure on us as Black men. And I could be, this could be just based on environment. When I moved to Atlanta, you know, women here are very entitled. It's very, and it could be, and listen, I'm not blaming anybody, so I don't want this to turn into
When you say entitled though, what does entitled mean?
I'll say financially entitled.
Okay.
I feel extreme pressure. And I get hit on by white women. I get hit on by all kinds of women. But when I get hit on by Black women, I immediately feel this entitlement of, I got to pay for something.
Wow.
I got to pay your rent. I got to help you with your car note immediately within 2 weeks. Or I'm just saying what I've experienced. I'm not saying that's every woman.
Wow. Listen, I'm not going to leave you out here by yourself, right? I have a lot of friends, or I shouldn't say friends, I have heard a lot of people that I know, associates, women, who definitely think that way, who are like, yo, if you can't pay my bills, then I can't even, what is there to talk about?
It's almost like that's I immediately feel like pressure. Yeah. And when you break it down, like the average date, you know, remember back in the day, you can go to Fridays, it'd be $60.
$40, $60 with dessert.
Nowadays, if I take somebody on a date,
$400.
Immediately, and I don't even drink. So if she drink, that's the couple hundred. If the hookah is 45, lamb chops is 50, dessert. So by the time VIP
valet.
Park valet, I was just getting ready to say valet. So we didn't spend $400 for me to see if you like me.
Say that again.
Like I'm not a king, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm spending. That's just the first date. You want to go out again? I didn't spend $1,000 on 3 dates just to see if you might call me back. Or maybe text me back. And then, because you're a beautiful woman, If you don't like me, you can go get the next man to do the same thing.
Wow. You know what's funny? I've had females look down upon me for saying certain things, and I'm not trying to big myself up, but this is genuinely how I feel. If we're going on a date and you take me to a nice restaurant, I'm not going to order the lobster and steak.
Right.
I'm just not going to do that. I just think it's inconsiderate.
Yeah.
And then if you take me to a nice restaurant, I personally always offer, because I know you're going to pay if you're the kind, you don't understand, but I'm going to always offer, hey, can I leave the tip?
Yeah,
I always ask
something
that.
about that is so special to me.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of woman that I want to marry. And it's like, just even if I don't want you to do it, just offering it. It's just, it makes a man feel appreciated.
Yeah.
And a lot of time there's this I think this is the word. I'm not really hip on all the, industry words.
Not hip.
There's this like hyper masculinity thing that happens where, if you're not paying for everything, you're not the man.
Yeah.
If you're not providing everything, you're not the man. Now, listen, I was raised by a single mom. So I'm not saying that I'm looking for Miss Independent, but I seen my mom do it.
Yeah.
I seen her make it happen. So for me, a level of entrepreneurship, my mom worked a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But any woman that could raise 3 kids by herself is an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Listen.
absolutely.
My mom knew how to make. She was making $50,000 20 years ago raising us. To us, that felt like a lot of money.
Yeah.
$50,000, that ain't no money.
Yeah.
So how did you rate? You're an entrepreneur.
You're an entrepreneur.
So when I meet a woman, it's a level of. That's what attracts me. Is the level of like. I'm
Go
making
getter.
this happen. I'm a go getter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I'm paying for the meals. I'm paying for the Uber if you need one. I'm paying for this. I'm paying for that. And then the moment you give me your body, if we go there, if we have sex or whatever happens, you immediately feel entitled to bills now because you're giving me your body.
So you don't think that a woman should feel entitled to compensation?
Oh, Jesus.
There's so many. We don't want to talk about this, but
No, we want to talk about it.
No. What I want to say is they don't like to actually call it what it is, but it's like elite prostitution.
No, for sure. But there's a caveat.
Okay.
Let's take it back to the entrepreneur woman.
Okay.
If you look at the Proverbs 31 woman, the Proverbs 31 woman was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
She was a worker. She worked. She used her hands. She used her mind, her ingenuity, her forward thinking. She worked for the family,
I like
right?
that.
She contributed to the family. However, the man is the provider. The man is the head. He is the leader of the household. He is the CEO of the last name. And a man is supposed to provide. But where the teammanship comes in is that Proverbs 31 woman is helping to build this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm probably about. I'm not into gender roles. I'm not into, I think we pick and choose what provision means based on what it may mean to the culture.
Okay.
But I think it needs to mean what it means for your household. Because I've seen, women look down on men who are going 50-50 with their women. But if that's what works for their household, and I'm not saying you should be okay with that, but I'm saying if that's what works, you shouldn't emasculate men, because I have a desire to pay for everything. I do have a desire to do that. But if there's a season where I can't, I don't want to be emasculated by the black woman, or the woman in period. I don't want to be emasculated, because if your love for me is based on what I can do for you, if something happens where I can't do no more, then it makes me feel like, damn. You gonna leave me?
Yeah.
Because I can't do it right now. So it's just this, and again, this could just be my personal, but I know a lot of men. It's this pressure. I remember going out on a date, and my friends laugh at me. I remember we went on a date, and I was trying to impress this girl. I was trying to impress her. She was like, I couldn't believe I even had her in my car. It was one of them ones. Like, I can't believe she agreed.
She the one.
Yeah, she can have anybody she wants. She picked me. I'm like, oh my God. So we go into this restaurant, and we get you're gonna crack up. I can laugh just talk about it. We get to the thing, and they're like, all right, so it's $20 to park in the front, and it's $5 to park down the street. And in my head, I'm like, $20. I'm ready to park down the street.
That's the dinner.
I'm going to let you out and I'm going to go park.
But can I be honest with you? I felt so much pressure to get the $20 one, because I didn't want her to look down on me.
But is that self-inflicted pressure?
It could be. So that's why I said immediately, I'm not blaming anybody.
Yeah.
But social media and the culture has put a lot of pressure on us.
On everybody. Everybody.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. So for me, I felt like I needed to get the $20 parking
to impress her.
Well, let me tell you, I think I agree with you. There is a lot of pressure from social media and all that stuff. I also think that as Black women, because you said you get this, you feel like this for a lot of Black women.
But that's because that's all I date.
Okay.
So I can't talk about. I can talk about who's approached me, but I have only dated Black women.
Well, I think that we are sometimes traumatized from Black men who don't step up.
I agree.
You know, I've met men who, I'm in a bad season right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And then that season lasts 5, 6, 7 years. Like, sir, what are you in a season or is this a lifestyle?
You know, it's so funny that you say that. It's so funny that you say that because I totally agree. I have seen men do my sister dirty.
Yeah.
I've seen men do my mother dirty. I've seen men do my friends dirty. But what I've also seen is them come to the good guy traumatized.
Yeah.
Because I've always been second in that world. You know what I mean? So, you know, growing up, all the good girls wanted the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's just been a thing. So by the time they get to me, they got 2 kids and they're traumatized.
Yeah.
And I be the one to have to pick up the
weight.
weight of you wanted the drug dealer, you wanted the street guy, you wanted the one that could get you the section at the club.
Yeah.
But what if it's not that? Okay, I'm just playing devil's advocate. What if it's a woman who she did uplift a man and she believed in him and he didn't believe in himself enough to make it happen. So now when she's in the dating pool again, her expectations are like, I want to see what you can do because I don't want to go down this road, because I feel like a lot of women, when we are committed, we are really committed and we're pushing our man. We want them to win. Yeah. So I'm putting all this energy into you and you're not doing it yourself. So now the next guy who comes along, like you said, we're a bit traumatized, but we just kind of want to see where you are before we invest. You want to see where we are before you invest your money. Yeah. I want to see where you are before I invest my emotions and my time. Yeah. So it's kind of like
and my body.
Yeah. And so I agree. And I want you to know that your body is special. You know, your body is valuable. But I think it's valuable on both ends. It's just a lot of times men think here first and then here. Yeah. Women think here first and then here. So a lot of times when we're on dates, we're really thinking about
the opposite.
How can we? Let's wrap this up.
Where's dessert?
Yeah. So you're exactly right, and I agree with that. I think that everybody has been traumatized, and my brother is really hard on me about getting to know people because I am a Scorpio. I'm a hopeless romantic. I will fall in love in 5 minutes.
You will.
I'm just being honest with you. I'm a Scorpio, so for me, you just said something that triggered me to think we probably should get to know each other even before we go out on a date.
Let's go to
coffee.
Why
am I spending $300 to see if I'm even the guy that you want to be on a date
Let's take
with?
it old school and talk on the phone.
Let's talk on the phone.
That's what we used to do years ago. We just talk on the phone.
They don't want to do that no more, though.
Oh, because first of all, people don't know how to talk.
They want to text.
They just want to text and send emojis and memes because nobody knows how to talk anymore. Social media is you're nonverbal.
Yeah, it's nonverbal. So it's a lot of it's like, okay, you know, ask me out, fly me out. You know what I mean? And
I do wonder though. I hear you, and I hear you, Amber. I hear the what's out there. I don't have the same experiences for one. I do wonder though, do you think that there is something within you that you have attracted a certain woman? Because when people tell me there's nothing good out there, or there's no good men, or all women think the same, or the women I've encountered, or the men I've encountered, my mind immediately is like, okay, what are you putting out there possibly that is attracting a certain person, place, or thing?
It's me. So I will not sit on this platform and blame anybody. It's me. When I got to Atlanta, I had never seen the level of Black woman in Atlanta because I'm from a small town, Pittsburgh, PA. It's a sports town. It's not a lot of there's beautiful women there, but it's not as glamorous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not as glamified as it is in Atlanta. You don't see,
I mean, Atlanta's an anomaly in general.
Yeah, and it's just different. So me seeing the most beautiful women in the world here, bodies done, faces done, teeth done, hair done. I mean, everything just done.
Yeah.
Which I love. You know what I'm saying? So for me, but
you like the BBLs?
I'm gonna get in trouble with this. I'm gonna get in trouble with this. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get in trouble. But it's all love and respect. some of the most traumatized women that I have met and experienced in Atlanta have been the ones who have had the most work done on their bodies. And so for me, all I see is the body. So I'm like, oh my gosh, beautiful. But literally, they're the most traumatized that I've experienced. But that's where I love glamour. So
you desired the woman with the body. Yes. You desired the woman with the BBL, that's the breast job, the this, the that. You desired that. So it's like, it's almost as this though, because when I think of Atlanta, I think of women who are really on their stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't really have women in my life who are not on their stuff. Yeah. Like, there are women who I know will pay for dinner, who will pay for the whole table. There are women who have built successful businesses, successful brands, have amazing social media presences and brilliant business minds who will take care of the check, but also still wants a man to meet her and match her and be a provider. So I'm like, where are these women that you speak of? I'm not even around those type of women. Yeah. Where are they?
But the truth is, it's a product of your environment based on the industries that you're in. You know what I mean? So the truth is, if you go to Lenox Mall and you're walking in the mall and you see 3 different women with a BBL, with new teeth, new titties, the Chanel bag, 9 times out of 10, they're not working at the bank. They had either used to strip, still strip, a bottle girl, or doing real estate.
Oh, Travis, she gonna get in trouble.
See, I don't agree with that.
You gotta help me out.
I don't agree with that.
I'm telling you what I've experienced. So I'm not saying I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm not saying it's everybody. But I'm saying 9 times out of 10, 2 out of those 3 women are doing one or have done one.
Okay. I would love for you to maybe change your atmosphere.
You don't want me to go to the mall no more? No.
Not Lenox. Go to North Point in Alpharetta. Go to Perimeter in Sandy Springs. Don't go to Lenox. Don't go to Saks. Don't go to Phipps.
Now listen, I don't want y'all to think that I only like women with BBLs. Men are visual. I like glamour. I like beautiful women. If you got your teeth, I'm a teeth man. I had braces. You can't have a big butt.
You do have a nice smile.
And you got missing teeth. Like, that's crazy. So for me, like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, like, that, look at y'all smile like that. I'm into that. You know what I'm saying? So men are visual, and there's a lot of competition out here. If you think about it, if her picture shows up on the Explore page and I click on it and I start scrolling up, they're gonna show you every woman that looks like Amber. Yeah. If you just keep scrolling. Yeah. So it's like so much competition out there. It's like, I done messaged 10 of y'all in one night, hoping that somebody respond in the morning. I'm just, I'm joking, but I'm just saying, like, that's how easy it is and accessible to get what you think you're attracted to. If you click on a profile of a handsome man who looks like he runs a bank or owns if you keep scrolling, it's going to show you 2,000 men that look just like that. You know what I mean? That's the algorithm that we have now. Yeah. So a lot of times if we go to, any of these restaurants during the day, Atlanta's full of entrepreneur, ain't nobody at work.
Ain't nobody at work. So you here at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday? Right.
So the moment I meet you sitting at the bar at a restaurant, by the time I get home, you're asking me to pay your rent. Jesus. I've experienced that. I'm not making that up.
I would love for our audience members to please put in the chat if this is something you've experienced, and put in the chat if you are a woman who expects these things off the rip. Like, and I am a woman who believes in the man as the provider. I believe in that. My husband is the provider of our household, but I also am a woman who came to the table with so much. So
now let me ask you a question. What does being a provider mean? Because I think that word is so relative. What does being a provider mean? Does that mean him paying all the bills?
Let's look up the definition of provider. Okay. That's what I like to do. I love to look up the definition of words because a lot of times we think we know what a word means until we see the textbook definition, right? Is so true. So let's look up the word provider. Okay. Provider definition. One of the definitions is a person or thing that provides something.
I like that, Holy Ghost.
The synonyms are giver, donor, supplier, right? The other is breadwinner. Similar words, breadwinner. He didn't like the thought of dad being the sole provider for the family, or AKA the breadwinner, right? So a supplier, a donor, or a giver.
Let me tell you something. You are an amazing woman, and your husband is so lucky. I love that. I love that. You know why? Because look how many scriptures I heard the first time I seen you on this podcast. You were breaking down a scripture and the two different meanings of it.
Oh,
Let me tell you something. How many scriptures have we had to debunk after 30 years of thinking that it meant something?
Yeah.
So even that just taught me and gave me actually a little bit another leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Because I think it means what it means for your household. And if it means him providing everything for your household, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But I don't think that if he comes to you and say, babe, I want us to open up a business in the next year.
Yeah.
And for the next 6 months,
yes,
can we go half on this mortgage until we open it? For you to say, I got you, babe.
Absolutely.
I love that.
That's a Proverbs 31 woman. But if you coming off the rip and this is the first date,
I get it.
And I'm like, yeah, no, I need half of this, half of that, then that's a different mindset and perspective.
Yeah.
But to be a provider in the sense of being the supplier, like when you think of like the father and he says, I will supply all of your needs. So I feel like your husband is the head of your needs, right? He is the head, he is the supplier of the spiritual direction, the financial direction, the educational direction of the household and the way the household is ran. He is the supplier of that, right?
That. And
if you fall in line with that, then yes, your husband is the provider. That doesn't mean you don't contribute. That doesn't mean you're not the Proverbs 31 woman and sewing and making the sweaters and out and tilling the fields and growing the food. Absolutely. I think women should always have something to offer and bring to the table, which is why I would challenge the mindset of going to the mall and meeting a woman, because Atlanta specifically, this is the Black Mecca. There's nothing you can't find in Atlanta. When people say there's no good men in Atlanta, yes, there is. You haven't found one because you haven't attracted one. When people say haven't found the right woman, because what do you need to change about you to attract the right circle of friends or the right woman? It all starts with you. And so if you want to find that woman, she's out there. She's bossed up.
She is. And again, I have to say this because I was raised by an amazing, beautiful Black woman.
Yeah.
And so I love Black women. This is not a bash. I hate the podcast of, men versus women. This is
because you're never going to take that clip and you're like, Travis Malloy doesn't like it.
And it's not that at all. Like, I love it. And I took responsibility.
Yeah.
I told you what has attracted me.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up around that. I didn't grow up in Hollywood. I didn't grow up around, just you being able to do what you want and look good at any cost.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up around that. So when I came here, it was like, oh my God. Everything I seen on TV was in my face. So that was new for me, but I understood, and I'm learning now that has come with a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Now, that is another thing. I'm not saying that everyone that's got their body done is crazy, but what I am saying is a lot of times they have been trying to fix everything but their mind. They have tried to fix everything but their heart. And that's what I have personally experienced, but that is a me thing that I'm working on.
Yeah.
We just had a guest on, and she said that she was talking about her business, and we're like, what made you take this big leap of faith? And she said one day she was just standing there, and God told her to go in her closet to pray. So she goes in her closet and she has her hands like this, and he says, open your hands. And she said she felt like God was telling her to release what was dearest to her, which was her money. She would give everything else, but her money, she didn't want to release it. And so her opening her arms and her hands was like her releasing that. And I feel that for you. I feel like you need to release this thing that you hold in your heart of this fine, beautiful woman, because God might have an ugly duckling for you, right? I'm just saying.
Now, he didn't say all that. God said he wants you to live in abundance. You're going to find abundance in life. You're going to find a woman who's pretty with the teeth.
Second. When I say ugly duckling, I mean somebody that you would not expect yourself. It's like a lot of times you see all these ball players and they end up marrying the plain Jane. People are like, why he marry her? Because he could have had anybody he wanted. But it was something about that woman that was like, no, she's the one. And I think if you release this expectation of, I've got to have the finest, baddest body, most beautiful woman, and be like, God, who is the woman you have for me?
You know what's so crazy? Men being visual has almost become a curse. Because if you think about it, to me, when a man marries a plain Jane, he's decided what's more important to him. And a lot of people are not with people they're really attracted to. A lot of people are settling. Most people are not even married to their soulmates or people that they have a sincere connection with. Some people, I've heard a woman say, I want to be with somebody that makes me feel secure.
Yeah.
But that don't necessarily mean you're attracted to them. I want to be attracted to who I'm with.
Yeah,
because
sure.
those men that are marrying those plain Jane are out there screwing who they're attracted to. And I want to screw who I'm married to and who I'm in love with.
I guess my
My
point.
mom says the word screw after all these years. I'm sorry, y'all.
Wait a minute. Before you move on, Amber, because I want to hit on that. I disagree with you.
Okay, well, let me finish though.
I'm so glad my attorney is here.
Right.
Thank you.
I guess what I'm saying, I'm not saying you go and marry somebody you're not attracted. But what I'm saying is, if you open your heart,
it may not be at the level that
I'm not even saying that. I feel like maybe God would have you be attracted to something that you thought you never would be. She might be fine to you, but maybe the old Travis, you wouldn't have paid her the time or the day. Yeah. But for some reason, when I have allowed God, like, God, I want your will for my life. It's just like this. We had this conversation about celibacy, and I said, yeah, I want to know that you're good in bed, but I'm also going to trust God that he's not going to bring me something that I don't want. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, if you're opening your heart to what God has for you.
Well, love is sacrifice. So see, that's what I'm saying. These words, you just help me. Love is sacrifice. Because what if he does bring you somebody who's going to love you unconditionally, who does not please you at the level that you're used to being pleased to?
Are we going to go to boot camp then? We're going to.
But here's what I was going to say. I believe when I was in college, I was having a hard time dealing with chasing my dreams. I was working as a red carpet host and actress, and I was here and there, to and fro, doing all the things in the lights, right? I was on the red carpets, I was doing all the things, but my relationships were suffering. I couldn't, I was not successful in the relationship department. And my best friend, Meek, who's in Las Vegas, looked at me and said, Ernestine, you can have it all. And it's the way she said it that particular day that I felt it in my soul. I've heard people say that before, but I never heard it the way I heard it that day. And I 1000% believe that you can have what you want in a woman. I believe that you will find the woman who is attractive to your eye, because if God knows you like people who are pretty on the eyes, and he will bring you that. If you like people who have nice teeth, he will bring you that. If you want her to be a little independent and bring something to the table, he will bring you that. That person exists. There's a million of them in Atlanta. I can name you 5 right now, set you up on a date. That woman exists. If you believe that you can have that, though, if you believe that woman exists and she will like you, you will attract that woman. But I feel like you're already shooting yourself in the foot because of this mindset of like, but those women, they got the BBLs and they want you to pay their bills, and and that's been your experience, rightfully so. But I know that the woman who's going to be attractive to Travis's eye, with the teeth and the body and the smile and the charisma and the entrepreneurial mindset and the graciousness of the heart, at the good heart posture, she exists. Yeah, you just have to find. You just have to attract her.
My old pastor, he's like a godfather to me, Bishop David Brock. He told me, he said, "Listen, if you can go pick the exact car you want,
yes,
he said you can pick the kind of woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
You can."
And a lot of times, and I'm not here to challenge anybody's theological, yeah, because my mind is going a mile a minute right now. Seminary classes, but I feel like God gives us choice to decide, and he meets us there. A lot of times, I've heard people on podcasts like, I'm waiting on God to send me and send. No, actually, a lot of times God is waiting on you to decide.
Yes.
And for me, like, I'm going to make a decision of what I like, who I want to be with, and is this what I want? And it's not all superficial. It's not about the body. I'm just superficially speaking right now because we're talking about men being visual. But there's a time where I used to say, I'll never marry a woman who couldn't cook. I used to say that. That's something that I'm actually willing to make a little adjustment. That's negotiable now that I'm a little older. My money's changing. You know what I mean? Ain't no work no more. I was like, we can get us a little chef. A little chefy chef. A little chefy chef.
We go eat.
So for me, those are things but I want to wake up to you without makeup on and be attracted to you.
Yeah.
I want to wake up and you don't have to brush your teeth for me to want to kiss you. I want to wake up and know that you don't have to put your wig on for me to want to throw it up in the air real quick. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like I deserve that.
And you can have that.
And I can have that.
And that person exists.
Okay,
and it exists.
This is my whole point, though. I agree with you all. But where I'm coming from is, since we've sat down here, you have talked a lot about the physical. Yes. And I'm saying if you just release that.
I agree with you.
And see what else God has for you. And I don't think that God is going to bring you somebody ugly or that you don't desire. I don't think he's a cruel God like that. Yeah. I'm just saying shift the focus.
Yes, and that is not Okay, so now I gotta come back to you this way. For me, I only mentioned the physical because that's typically the first thing that we see. Mm-hmm. But I actually long for that vibe. Mm-hmm. I always use Martin and Gina for an example.
That vibe.
Yeah, like I'm an R&B 90s, 2000s kind of guy. So I'm about that vibe. Like I like to talk on the phone. I like to FaceTime. I like to be able to laugh. You can make me laugh. We can talk. That actually attracts me.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't get that from the ones that I have been chasing.
Yeah.
Right. So
you're exactly right. And now let's talk about this.
Point.
So let me talk about this. This is great. This is part 2. Roll the cameras. Part 2 is that a lot of times I have that vibe, that Martin and Gina vibe with women that I am not sexually attracted to. I have been battling with that for the last 10 years. I want to sit up on the phone and talk to them all night. I want to be on FaceTime. We laugh and go, but I don't want to make love to you. I don't want to kiss you. So I've been actually battling with that. Like, okay, God, now I need you to send this to me in this way now. So I have been dealing with that because I am about that vibe. I love just, let's go to the park. Can we go to the park? My god sister, Von Jana, she always says, a lot of people are married because they love each other, but they're not married because they like one another.
Yeah.
If I want to like you. Can we go to the park with no phone and catch a vibe?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you, the truth is, you'll be married to someone and you may like them on a Tuesday and you may not like them on a Thursday, and that is marriage.
I get it.
Love outweighs like. You want to love the person. You obviously want to like your person, but you're not going to always like your person. That is marriage. You're not going to, I don't know one married couple that's just like, I like my partner 100% of the time, all day, every day.
Well, I think that you fall in and out of love more than you fall in and out of like. Because the truth is, you could be angry with somebody and still be like, but we still got that vibe. Like, I know we can hug it out and laugh and be laughing in 10 minutes. So I think that...
Because you love that person.
Yes, love is unconditional. I do believe that. But I think there are levels to love. I think like I can love you. I could love you unconditionally. I feel like I could be in love with you. I could be smitten by you. I think there's just so many levels to that.
Yeah.
I think we have these ups and downs of that honeymoon phase. So, I hear you. And I
think we
agree
need to
with
do,
you.
Amber, I want to do For the Love of Travis. We need to do a speed dating round. We get some amazing eligible bachelorettes and do.
She said we're not doing that.
I think for me, I've just seen a lot of men, and I won't even call men in my life, family, whatever, who have married these beautiful bomb bodies, bomb faced women.
How many men do you think have tried to date you because of how beautiful you are?
I mean,
all
of course. But I think the ones who are like, yo,
you're a vibe too.
Yes.
No, I'm with you. But I'm saying, but when they see that face,
the initial attraction is the faith and the teeth in the body.
Right.
So they like, she got.
Which is why it is important. You want to be, especially as a man, you want to be attracted to your partner. You want to be sexually attracted. You want the pretty person. But I'm gonna say you talking about the plain Jane. Like, no, he wants the person that's pretty to his eye. We don't want the plain Jane.
I don't want plain Jane.
And you can have her. She exists. If you meet someone like Amber, she's pretty.
But I'm a plain Jane, believe it or not.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Where are you a plain Jane?
See, that's relative.
When I'm here, I'm dressed.
Super glamorous.
Bruh, you are super glamorous.
You look like you actually go to sleep
on
like
a Monday.
Catch anybody on a Monday, Tuesday at home with their wig off, yes. But when you step out, you are not a plain Jane, babe.
I've never seen you
nobody's attracted to you, Amber, because you're a plain Jane. Let's get that straight. Nobody is. When men approach Amber, it's because of the body, the eyes, the hair.
Definitely.
No one's saying, "Oh, she's a plain Jane. That's the one I want." Stop it. People like you because you're pretty. Now they stay liking you because you're a vibe. You're dope. It's fun. It's a vibe. That's why my husband like, I'm pretty. I'm bad. Period. My husband saw me. He was like, yeah, that's the one. Period. But you stay married to me. You stay with me because it's a vibe. We hang and we listen to Michael Jackson. We playing board games. No one is saying that's the girl I want because she's the plain Jane.
Yep.
No, they're not saying that, ma'am. Yep. That is not happening.
I'm sorry to all my plain Janes out there.
Now, you don't have to be. Now, a plain Jane does not mean you don't have a BBL. So let's talk about that. Just because you don't got your body done does not mean you're a plain Jane. I know some plain Janes that don't wear makeup, that are not into.
That's what I'm saying. I don't wear makeup unless it's we're here. Unless I'm in front of cameras.
But see, your
or
teeth,
at church.
Your teeth tell
But
the story,
you-
though.
Come on.
Them teeth, them lips.
Like, come on, man, because you don't want me to really break it down on camera.
That's
Stop.
what I'm saying. Just
Like, let's stop. You're not a
please
plain
understand,
Jane.
break it down.
Please, like, just stop. You're not a plain Jane.
She's trying to like
It's like,
build
yeah,
this
because you're trying to
plain
do
Jane
this
community.
right.
So people
You're
like,
trying to build the plain Jane community,
yeah,
and you're not in
you're
that
not a
community,
plain
sir, ma'am.
You're a superstar.
Like, please stop the
You're a
madness.
superstar.
Anyway, I'm gonna change the subject
Wait,
because
before you change the subject.
she want to be a plain Jane so bad.
No, I just on a regular day. You are too.
Everyone on a regular day is regular.
But everybody, we're on cameras. Is what I'm saying. We're in front of cameras.
Everybody on a regular day is regular. As handsome as Travis is, if he goes home and he just wakes up,
It's not true. I see
before
people-
he put his beard oil in, we just wake up. We're people.
And you gotta
Yeah.
understand, but I'm gonna just be honest with you. And I hate to use this in a churchy way, but God's hand is on you. And what I mean by
Hallelujah.
that
No,
is,
just playing.
even when you think you're playing,
You're not.
You're not.
It's like,
Like,
Okay.
literally.
I receive it. Let me just give it up.
Like you could have been like when I first met you. You were relaxed at the concert. It was you were relaxed. I mean, you were still period, but you were relaxed. But you still had.
yeah.
I was still looking at Uncle Fred like, no weapon. We blessed in the city over here.
weapon.
What's going on? He's like, nephew, chill out. But I'm saying you probably
Oh my
felt
God.
super relaxed and all
I
that.
did. I was
but
chilling.
But you're not a plain Jane.
Not playing Jane.
Okay.
So you
Next
can't
subject.
say-
So can
next
you do me a
subject.
favor?
Wait
So,
a minute.
What?
Go ahead.
Because we're talking about dating before we move on. Because
Okay.
we're going to talk about his millions, trillions, billions, or millions, billions, trillions. Can you just sing us something so that the
Sing.
ladies? So listen, for any eligible bachelorettes out there, this man's voice is amazing.
It is, because I was listening to something you were in a living room somewhere on Instagram or YouTube. You were in a living room singing. Everybody was around you. I said, "Oh Jesus!"
Look, Sarah named me Travis. We might have a date tonight.
Y'all, I'm so like nervous
Stop
right
it.
now.
Knock it
You're
off.
not nervous. It's people always say they're nervous who really don't be nervous.
And
No,
about to
I'm-
blow.
Now he's like,
No, y'all don't understand. It's a lot of pressure.
It's not.
Y'all talking about just dating. It's a lot of pressure. Period. on
Hey,
us.
come on now, stop it.
Love a word that comes and goes, though few people really knows what it means to really love somebody. Oh, love, though the tears may fade away, I'm so glad your love will stay, because I love you and you show me, ooh, Jesus,
"Come on."
what it really means to love.
Come on.
So my phone number is
Come on. Listen, that's the type of voice
32
right there to make you fall in
Yeah.
love, ladies.
3323. Open your phone.
This one is coming
That
up.
voice right
This
there.
one-
And you talk about you get what?
Right, y'all tripping.
All you gotta do is sing for her.
Exactly. Just walk down the mall and sing.
So,
Man, that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing
Yes.
that with us. Thank you. I
I'm
read
still
somewhere.
nervous.
I read you were not nervous. I read somewhere that you had hundreds and thousands of people that you led weekly and Sundays to sing when you were younger, right?
oh God,
How
must have been an old bio.
how were you able to galvanize so many people just with your voice?
Well, what happened was I was a young guy who I had a lot of energy, and I went to a public school. So you know, when you're a black kid in a public school with white teachers, they immediately want to put you on Ritalin.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yes. And you know, that's why I love he's controversial, but I love Dr. Umar Johnson, because he always he's really big on black teachers
Yeah.
teaching black kids.
Yeah.
Because it's a different level of connection. And because white people are different than us and how we were raised, they don't understand that I needed to be taken to a black man who said to my mom, he's not bad, he's gifted.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know at that time what
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
So, you know, we end up going to this church, and it was a church that already had thousands of members. And the minister of music at the time, God rest her soul, Lisa Clay, she took me under her wing, and she taught me how to play the piano.
Wow.
And she trained me vocally. And at 7 and 8 years old, I was leading worship with her in front of thousands of people. It was like, you know, at that time, it was like, you know, the House of Hope. It was like the Potter's House of Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? So just that's when I knew I wanted to perform.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't believe how music, yes, we were singing about God, but how music can literally shift an entire atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. I got a playlist on my phone right now. If I want to cry, I know what to put on. If I want to fall in love, I know what to put on. If I want to worship God, I know what to put on. And I wanted to be a part of that. So they helped cultivate my gift. But I got kicked out of daycare. I got kicked out of the second grade because it wasn't that I was a bad kid. I just didn't understand what was inside of me.
Yeah, it was misplaced energy.
Yeah, it was misplaced energy.
I was touring a daycare the other day because I'm putting my child in daycare, and I'm touring this daycare, and I don't really know what to ask for. I called Amber. I'm like, Amber, what questions do I ask? Because I'm new to this thing. And as I was meeting the different teachers and program leaders at the school, I was just thinking about all the program leaders and coaches and track coaches and whoever that help pour into me, just as those teachers poured into you and help you cultivate and discover your gifts. And I just thought about wow, I'm so grateful that I was able to have so many people pour into me and find my gifts and help me fine tune my niche, right? And I was reading that you were inspired by Pastor John Peakey, and you had that mentorship, and just how important mentorship is and tutelage is, and having someone just having someone in a position that you want to be in to pour into you. And I think that just like with this social media world, like everyone feels like they can do something, or, I see him sing, I can sing, or he's got a clothing line, I can start a clothing line. But to have that mentorship, like how important was that to you to have that tutelage?
You even saying that man's name just sent chills through my body.
Yeah.
Because you don't think at 10 years old listening to Show Up and I Do Worship and these amazing songs, and you're saying I used to say I wish I was my dad.
Wow.
My dad was in my life, but just as a musical father figure.
Yes.
So to be able to call Pastor John Peakey today and him say, I love you, I'm watching you, son.
Wild.
You're doing your thing. You know what I mean? So it's important to have mentors who know more than you.
Yeah.
And you got to be secure. You got to have mentors who are secure in who you are. Because a lot of times, people will mentor you that you may be even more gifted than.
Mm-hmm.
And I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Where I was more gifted than the person who was telling me what to do. And sometimes you got to decipher, are they telling me not to do this because that door didn't open for them? So you got to have the right people around you. And I've had people around me that love me and that don't need me. If everybody on your team needs you, nobody will tell you the truth.
Ooh, that's good.
So I got people on my team that got more money than me, that, don't need me, that I can't hold nothing over their head.
Smarter than me.
They're going to tell me, no, this is what you need to do. No, we don't agree with that. So that was important to have people like that in my life. Trini Massey, Michael Austin, and so many greats, Chris, I can name so many of them that have been in my life. John Gray. Pastor John Gray has been in my life since I was 7 years old.
Yeah. Shout out to John.
You know what I'm saying? That man moved me to Atlanta in 2008 for the first time, just because he wanted to pour into me as a young man. I was 20 at the time. You know what I mean? So people like that I've had in my life that believed in me before there was a millions, billions, trillions, or before there was a Grammy nomination. You know what I mean?
That's so good.
That's special.
So you were talking about pastors and mentors, and you also said something, rewinding a little bit. You said that music shifts the atmosphere. And something very controversial went down on New Year's Eve. And you were very public about your support for your pastor, Bishop William Murphy.
Yes.
And I just want to hear your perspective on what happened, or what you think about what happened as far as him playing the music that he played on New Year's Eve. A lot of people, and there's still uproar about it, and you were very supportive, and you're like, if you don't like it, don't come here.
I'm so loyal.
But you said, and loyalty, cool, but you just said music shifts the atmosphere. What did you feel about that music in the church environment?
That was a great connection, but I'm ready for it. Bishop Murphy is revolutionary. I think he's bigger than church, number one. A lot of people that are in church are actually bigger than church. They've just decided to be in church. And I mean gospel artists, I'm talking about preachers. There are pastors that I know that would be better motivational speakers than they are pastors. Because there's a difference between being a preacher and being a pastor.
Yes.
So I think he is just a giant when it comes to crossing cultures. Y'all got to understand, I've battled for years feeling like I had to pick singing gospel or R&B. Just in the last few years, I've decided that I'm going to do both and sing love songs and sing about God as well. You know what I mean? And I don't sing crazy stuff. But I've decided that I don't have to pick. I feel like God can trust people in certain levels and certain realms. So to answer your question, his point of view was, he was preaching about how to walk it out. Even when the enemy comes, walking out the prophecies that have been spoken over your life this year, to walk it out. So walk it out was planned. Because I know him and I know how we flow in church, Swag Surf was not planned. But, and I seen his face. He didn't even know. They just started playing it because after Walk It Out, which I believe was planned, after that went off, I think the DJ went to the next song that she felt would possibly get the crowd excited. Because we're just a flow church, I think we went with the flow.
Okay.
And he went with the flow. So I don't believe that song was planned.
Right.
But I believe the Spirit of God is so heavy in my church that I think people were more excited about crossing over into a new year and walking out the prophecies than we were thinking about the lyrics that were about the song. Now, could she have played the instrumental? Yes.
Yes.
Would that have been a better vibe and flow?
Yes.
I agree. But on the flip side, because it wasn't, what we gonna do?
Right.
We're gonna tell him he's going to hell and our whole church is going to hell because the song was played. And I just feel like this. When you got the Holy Ghost, if a song can take you to hell, you ain't got the Holy Ghost.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? How many times have we walked in realms that we knew weren't even at our level?
Right.
But there's times I walk in the studios. I don't smoke weed. There's times I walk in studios and there's weed, there's guns, there's drugs, there's all kinds. But I'm there for a purpose to do what I do and walk out.
Right.
I will just challenge that a little bit, though. If a song can take you to hell, yes. However, when you have young minds and children and teenagers and adolescents who may not be developed enough to know, like, I'm not going to let this message enter my subconscious, and you have lyrics like, I'm smoking on that gas, I'm sipping on Hypnotic, I don't know if church is necessarily the right platform to be spewing that message from.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. But what I'm not going to do is send my pastor and my church to hell because of a song that played that I don't believe he had anything to do with.
And I was going to say that. I've known Bishop Murphy since I was a little girl. I call him my god brother, and I love him dearly. And I'm very close to his family, his brother, his sister-in-law is my best friend. And what I know about him and what I've seen from him since a young age, he came into my life, I think he was about 17 years old. He has always had a heart for God.
That man is...
Yes, he's always had a heart for God's people. I also heard that he did not know that song was going to play.
I already know that because when you're a member somewhere, you're in tune with your people.
Yes.
I could look on his face and tell he didn't know, but he's such a flow guy that he's like, let's just go with it.
We're rolling with
it.
it.
Man don't know them lyrics.
I was going to say that.
I've been listening to that song for 15 years. I don't know not one lyric. If a gun was to my head, I'd die.
Exactly.
Because most people
I know the melody.
Like, do you know Soulja Boy? What's that?
Yeah.
We don't know the lyrics to that song, but we know the dance.
Right.
So I think that people got caught up into that. Again, I agree.
Yeah.
I wish the instrumental had been played.
Yeah.
Because everybody isn't at the level that they can handle, like, okay, that was an accident, but we're going to flow in the Holy Ghost. You know what I'm saying? But what I don't like about church people.
Yes, you about to say what I was about to say.
Is I can't handle, we're the only army that kills its wounded soldiers. Every pastor takes a moment to try to figure out a way to let you know that he ain't got the Holy Ghost like we got.
Yeah. And the congregation.
Yeah, like I've heard pastors get up and talk about him that I've seen him cover and protect. I've seen him do it. There was one that I texted him and talked about because I was angry. And he said, He literally texted me back and rebuked me and said, our job is to cover the people of God. That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
That was the first time he had ever rebuked me. I said, all right.
Wow.
Right.
But that same person got up and made a video about him. So it just shows you the heart of that man. So just to see his own people try to kill
And the heart
him,
of people around.
even if you don't agree.
Yeah.
Bishop, we love you. We may not agree, but we love you and we protect you because we do know that you have a heart for God's people.
Yeah, I saw a comment.
We're protecting you, but I still want to challenge you, but I'm going to challenge you privately. And I'm not going to be all on Instagram Live.
Yeah, because we try to,
you publicly.
when we challenge each other in church, we try to kill you.
Yeah.
We don't say, hey, I don't believe in that. So we're not doing that over here. I love what he's doing. We don't even have room to seat people at our church.
Yeah.
The people are coming to sit on the altar because we don't have seats for them.
Yes.
Because of the heart of God that man has.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So just to see how we do, that's why I know my ministry is not church.
Yeah.
My ministry is for the world because we just kill you.
And I love the duality in your perspective, which is why also you produce and sing secular and worldly music. And you have found a way to comfortably participate in the two.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I remember, me and him were talking, and he got the Holy Ghost so much. He came up to me one day and was like, you don't have to pick.
Yeah. I'm sorry, secular and gospel music.
He was like, you don't have to pick.
Yeah.
I battled. Y'all don't understand. I got to tell y'all this story, and it's only going to be 20 seconds. Do y'all remember when radio stations would have talent shows back in the day and they would bring record executives and going to get a record deal and killed it? That happened like 17 years ago in my hometown. It was a lady that came there and she was like, I had sang and I just knew my life was getting ready to change. They all tried to sign me. And I was so scared of church people that I would not sign that deal. She looked at me and she said, I want to do with you what we getting ready to do for Trey Songz. That's what she said to me.
Wow.
She said, you're a star. I said, church people ain't gonna like. Can you imagine being in church and being scared of them?
Yeah. Oh, listen, that was
not even understanding that actually R&B was probably my ministry.
We have to have a whole part 2 episode with you on just that subject alone.
I haven't seen her in 17 years. I seen her for the first time 3 days ago.
Wow.
I've been looking for her to tell her, baby, I'm ready now. I ain't scared no more.
I mean, I always think about it like this. If you're going to go and do R&B and you want to do love songs, God created love.
You can't tell me God is love and I can't sing about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all of y'all having sex.
And I think that's
I know
religion,
y'all don't want to talk about that. Is that part
sex.
3?
No, we need to do a part 2 and part 3, but that's religion.
That's religion.
That's not relationship with the word. That's religion. But again, that's a whole other podcast
So
episode.
many people are fearful. You'd be surprised how many bishops, pastors, choir directors, gospel artists message me and say, man, I wish I had the strength and the gall that you have to sing love songs. My church would fire me if I ever did it, but that's one of my dreams.
Yeah.
So many people are living in bondage in church.
Before I know we're going to be wrapping up really soon, but I just want to, sorry to change the subject. No. I just want to talk really quick about your business and how that came about. This millions, billions, trillions. I got to think in the order. Please tell us about your company.
You know what? Let me affirm you. I was getting ready to tell you the order is millions, billions, trillions, but because of the God we serve, you can do one thing and he could take you right to the trillions.
Yeah. We're going to start with the trillions.
Yeah, we can start there. But in the pandemic, we was all just trying to figure it out. And I was the minister of music at a church. The pastor let me go randomly, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was comfortable. God had given me millions, billions, trillions 3 months prior to being let go from this church, but I was so comfortable. I was doing my thing. And I said, what am I going to do? And God spoke to me and said, I gave you millions, billions, trillions 3 months ago.
Go.
See, sometimes God will create situations to force you into purpose and entrepreneurship. Called a friend over. I ain't know nothing about Shopify, y'all. I ain't know nothing about that stuff. I sing and make music. I ain't know nothing about e-commerce and all that and emails. I said, yo, you got to get over here and set something up for me. Came over and he set up the website. We put it online in 48 hours.
Went crazy.
It was viral. It was everywhere.
Some of everybody has wore it.
It was everywhere. I mean, celebrities were buying it under fictitious names. I didn't even know. I would go online and see a celebrity wearing it. Like, when did they buy it? I didn't get this.
Wow.
So it just changed my life. And I'm thinking that I have this T-shirt line that is going to make me some money so I can pay my bills. And Bishop Murphy said to me, "That's not a T-shirt line. It's a prophetic movement."
That's good.
And when I decided to accept that it was a prophetic movement and not just a T-shirt line, that's when it started just opening doors for me, even in music, that I couldn't get in through music. But God was like, no, I'm going to take you through the back door.
Man.
I never seen in a million years that I'm thinking Missy Elliott's going to work with me because I could sing.
She got on your
I got in the studio with Missy because somebody gave her millions, billions, trillions.
When I tell you we talked about that on another episode, like God will get you to the place, and it's not going to look like the way you thought it was going to look like.
We've been saying yes to your will, yes to your way for years, and a lot of times we want the will, but we don't want the way.
Come on.
I'm telling you, God has changed my life with millions, billions, trillions, because now I have not just become a voice that could sing a little bit or that could make songs. Now people are coming up to me telling me, yo, your story and your shirt makes me feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
I've had a billionaire come to me.
It's a movement. You started a movement.
And I didn't realize
You birthed a movement.
I didn't realize it.
Weren't you in like Neiman's or something?
Neiman Marcus highlighted me for a month last year for Black History Month.
That's awesome.
And I remember asking somebody, can I do Neiman's for Black History? They said, Neiman's doesn't do, they don't highlight designers on no t-shirt lines. I said, they just said it's not high end enough. I said, this isn't a t-shirt line, it's a prophetic movement. I don't have to deal with the same thing that other people deal with.
Okay.
Set the meeting up. We got the meeting, the man said, we in there.
Sign on the dotted line. Listen.
So we was in there.
That's my type of thing.
And I would come and sneak in and sit in Neiman's, and I would watch people go and stare at the mannequin. They would literally stare. I've watched people take out their cameras and take pictures of the words.
Just the words.
Because of how it makes them feel.
Because it speaks to you.
When I'm walking through the airport, TSA's like millions, billions, trillions. They don't even know they prophesying over their life.
Oh, come on.
You know what I'm saying? So it's...
Where's my shirt, Travis?
Yeah, is it?
I'm like, you didn't bring us the sweaters to the It's Negotiable podcast?
I got you. It's already
Listen, family, we're going to have a part 2 and part 3 with Mr. Travis Malloy.
Part 2 and part 3. We got to do that.
Yes.
We got to do that.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming to the show and just gracing us with your energy. It's infectious. Your smile is infectious. I'm like, can we be friends? I want you to come back.
Why do you think I'm going to date somebody that ain't got no teeth in the back?
Right. Plain Jane.
Wasn't saying that.
We don't want the plain Jane with the teeth in the back. Okay, listen, guys, you already know how we end every episode, and I think it's only right. It is only right to do the word of the day with this word. We spoke of change, right? And transformation. My word of the day is metamorphosis, and I'm going to read the definition of metamorphosis to you all. A change of the form or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one by natural or supernatural means. By natural or supernatural means, you are changing the nature of a thing into a completely different one. It is time. Let this be a word for you that it is time to do a complete metamorphosis, a complete change by natural or supernatural means. That's all I got to say right there. That's all I got to say.
I got to pray for 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
God, we love you.
Yes.
Thank you for this time. We believe that you're going to do just what you said. And we're asking you to give us the grace and the peace as you order our steps in fulfilling our purpose. Yes. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Jesus. Amen.
Thank you so much, Travis, for joining us. And guys, we will see you on another episode next week of It's Negotiable.